Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Jeff. Been wanting to make a video for a while, and this is actually a topic I've wanted to talk about for a while, but I just never found the time. And I felt like today was a really good day to do it because it's the 1 year anniversary of when I was officially stealth. In some aspects of my life, anyway, with certain friends, but this is the 1 year anniversary of when I left my old job of working at an LGBT nonprofit. And when I was there, I was openly trans. Everybody knew I was trans. Uh, and it was a really good place for me to work at that time in my transition. I was not passing when I first got there. I was passing by the time I left, but I felt like I was very supported and accepted, and I was able to connect with people that previously had never met a trans person before, um, and also meet some other trans people and feel that sense of community. So it was great. But when I left, I had some ideas about what being stealth would mean, and I was totally wrong. um, I thought, and again, these are just my personal experiences. Everyone is different. But when I left, I thought that being stealth would just mean the exact day-to-day existence that I had at the LGBT center, except nobody knew I was trans, so there would be no awkward conversations from time to time where people would ask questions or bring up my trans history. That's it. And that is not the case at all, because when you're seen as, a cis white straight guy for all intents and purposes, you're suddenly one of the boys. And this is, it's a mentality that I haven't been able to get accustomed to, and more importantly, I'm not sure if I want to be accustomed to it. So, for example, suddenly there's a lot of conversations around me, sometimes involving me, that have to do with sex, just your general locker room bullshit. But it's treating women as disposable and just these sex objects, and it's really annoying. It's just at worst, I mean, at best it's annoying, and at worst it's really offensive and rife with misogyny, and it's tough. It's like the way that the way that my colleagues, and this is only certain colleagues. I have some colleagues that are just awesome. They're great. They never fuck up. They're just like totally politically correct, great coworkers. And then you have these other coworkers that are going to tell you everything, what they think about everything, and they want to be bros, and I don't understand it. But like I said, it's like a lot of dick jokes, ball jokes, sexual endeavor jokes, details about sexual escapades, and I don't want to hear any of that. But I don't understand where it comes from, and why this is acceptable. And like I said, for the first time in my life, for me to be a part of these conversations, I don't get it. I think it's stupid. I don't understand its purpose, but more importantly, it's really harmful to women. And when I have mentioned, hey, that's not cool, or whatever, I get met with this sort of attitude of like, what kind of dude are you? Which then, or why are you raining on our parade? And, something that I've really been wrestling with is, well, why do I care what they think, what kind of dude I am? Because there is a small part of me that cares. If not, I would object to it a little bit more strongly. But I think it might be my own internal shit that's like, if you object to it, somehow they'll figure out you're trans. But obviously that's not the case. I know that wouldn't happen, but there's a little voice in me that's like, well, the more you speak up, the more of a giveaway that you're not a real guy. And that's my own internal shit that I'm sure I'll have to deal with. But luckily, it's just a small voice that comes and goes. But yeah, I mean, this conversation keeps happening. It just takes different forms, whether it's, one coworker talking about some ex, it's nuts. But it's not just the locker room shit either. There's a lot of general homophobic, transphobic shit that comes up, that if you challenge it, you're not one of the guys, or you're not I don't know. It's so hard to talk about it because it's more of like an attitude. It's more of a like how it feels in the environment. And maybe if you guys have had similar experiences, definitely share it below. But yeah, like I had a colleague say the word tranny at my job, and I shut that shit down, and I felt like he wasn't really all of that receptive right away. He sort of laughed it off, and I explained, no, that is a big deal. It's akin to the N word, and I went through the whole explanation of where that word comes from and why you shouldn't use it. And the coworkers that were in the room while I was doing all this were staring at me like I was a fucking alien, which I didn't understand. I just, I felt like they were all looking at me like, why are you such a social justice warrior? What does this have to do with you? And that bothered me because even if I wasn't trans, you'd think just be a decent human being and don't use a slur word. And when I'm educating you or explaining to you, why you shouldn't use that, just be fucking respectful. But whatever. But yeah, like I said, I felt like I was sort of being like laughed off. Like, oh, well, we'll say that word if we want to say that word. I had another coworker say the word faggot and call a guy light in the loafers, which I thought was awesome. I didn't even know people still use that kind of stupid language. And again, I was like, that's really not cool. And because I feel like I can't affect any change, what I've ended up doing is just getting up and leaving the room when these things happen. Which puts me, it makes me look, I don't know how it makes me look. It makes me feel stupid. It makes me feel like I can't do anything, so I just get up and I leave. And maybe that's making some sort of statement, like, I don't even want to be in the room when you talk about women like this, when you make fun of, you insinuate that someone's gay as an insult. Trannies only come up once or twice, but, still, I've left the second time that came up. I leave, and I don't know whether that's making a statement or whether it's making it look like I condone it. It's tough. It sucks. But the one thing that I have been wrestling with most of all is that I don't know whether... So sometimes, because I'm stealth, I feel like I'm not being authentic with people. I have to lie about things in my past in order to be stealth. And that's true of a lot of trans people, but it's especially true in my past because I went to an all-girls high school. And when people ask me what high school I went to, I have to lie. And then I have to remember which high school I told them. And unfortunately, I've gotten in trouble where a couple people think I went to one high school and a couple people think I went to another one because the high school I was saying I was going to, this guy was like, oh, I went to this high school. Have you ever heard of it? And I was like, fuck, I can't, we were the same age. I can't be like, oh yeah, I did too, and you never saw me, and I can't name a single teacher. But yeah, so like things like that. Like I was in the Girl Scouts, and someone was talking about the Girl Scouts, and I chimed right in, and they were like, "Oh, you were in the Boy Scouts," and I was like, "Yes." And whenever that happens, it's like a reminder that that I'm not being open and authentic, and it bothers me. So I don't like that about the stealth aspect, but I don't know whether that outweighs the potential for a violent reaction. Well, I wouldn't say violent, but a hostile reaction from some of my coworkers I could see. I'd definitely be treated far differently from a good handful of coworkers, I can guarantee. But yeah, I don't know whether that outweighs it. But more importantly, the thing that I've been wrestling with that I keep losing is I wonder if I was out as trans at my new job, if that would stop some of the shit that they say, especially about, gender norms and trans people and gay people and just this general shitting on non-heteronormative behavior. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like bro talk. But yeah, I wonder if I was out, if that would stop it, because maybe they'd see, oh, hey, here's a trans person, here's someone far different, but it's just like you and me, not a big deal. you know, like sort of like an enlightening thing. Like, I wonder if that would change it, or I wonder if they would just censor themselves. And then there's a part of me that wonders if when I was at the nonprofit, people were just censoring themselves. I don't think so, because that was a very PC place. And when you work in a nonprofit and you're LGBT, you know, it's far different. But, you know, I do wonder that. And then that makes me sad too. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So maybe this is all just part of the trans experience. That it sucks. You know, the grass is greener. Because being stealth just means that I'm constantly walking this fine line of how do I challenge this bullshit, or how do I, and while also being heteronormative to be assumed to be cis. It's, I mean, I don't try to do anything. It just happens. It's not like I put up a front. I walk around super macho or anything, but yeah, so that's what I've been thinking about a lot lately, and how challenging it is, and how I wonder if it would just be easier if I wore, you know, a t-shirt, everybody knows I'm trans, and you know, there's just too many what ifs. But anyway, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm a year and 4 or 5 months post-op. Everything's good there. Work-wise, everything's good. Tomorrow's Halloween, so I'm happy. Gonna hang out a little bit. Hopefully get some trick-or-treaters. And yeah, hope everything is good with you guys. Sorry for the long rambly video, but it's been a really long time since I've made a long rambly video, so enjoy it. And I'll catch you guys later.